Hello there. Now we will see in the green technology, India's National Action Plan on Climate Change. The reason behind to form this kind of action plan. So in the Paris Climate Agreement, every country has promised and pledged to reduce the carbon emission at the different levels. And they identified different types of the resources for the emissions of these greenhouses, and they have to work according to that part. Already we have discussed and how in the last video session we have discussed about how the different countries are adopting at the different stages. They are identified from the industry, and they identified from the thermal power stations and automobile sectors and the domestic levels, and the different types of the resources they are identified, and they are trying to implementing certain the constraints or the restrictions so that they can trying to implementing there from their level. And from that point of view, India, what it can do in this National Action Plan on Climate Change. So the first one is going to be the India's to its credits is developing the National Action Plan, for which several nations missions have been identified to cover the following the 8 important aspects. So in this case, what will happen? The India has developed its own action plan 8s, but at the Paris climate change, they developed the 7 policies, and we are developed 8 points by understanding from the nature of the Indian culture people and the lifestyle, and they compare with the others country people. So then what are the 8 points there? So we are going to be targeting specifically in these sectors. What is the first one? Is going to be solar energy. That's we need to go. Then what will happen here? We are going to be dependency on the thermal power stations. We are going to be reduces. Enhance the energy efficiency. In this case, this is going to be in the end users. So end users, what will happen? They are using the different electrical appliances, like in domestic level you can see light, fan, ACs and all these things. So then what will happen? How we by using the certain kind of energy ratings. Next one, sustainable habits, water, sustaining in Himalayan ecosystem, green India, sustainable agriculture, and strategic knowledge of the climate change. And these points we are going to be discussed in each slide that we can see. So then in this case, what is that? So while the emissions are under various ministers, and overall council has been established under the Prime Minister, bringing the government, industry and civil society together. In this case, what will happen? These 8 points we identified where we can reduce the carbon emissions. So then what will happen? They are kept this each strategy, that means 8 points in that's going to be emission control. They are giving the different kind of the ministers, but finally monitored by the Prime Minister. So then the missions are expected to not only help the control emissions but also put India at the low carbon pathway. So then council first meet in 2007, they did it. So then in this case, what will happen? In 1820s was the carbon emissions is going to be 1820, it is going to be 280 ppm, while in 2005 it is going to be 379 ppm. By 2050 they expected 450 ppm in India particularly. There we can see that how the carbon particles are going to be in the ppm level, how it is going to be increases 280, 379 and 450. That means that's a kind of tremendous the carbon depositions are there in our surrounding atmosphere. So this was identified. And then in the planning for the future, India hopes to become the prosperous but not wasteful. So then what will happen? They have to develop their own technology, how to reduce the carbon emissions and how to get the more number of the carbon credits and how to convert this carbon into useful products. So the details of each mission we split out, hopefully to refine as necessary through the experience. So in this case, the first one is going to be solar. Already we told how we can do this part. So we in India, 70 to 80% of the energy, that the electrical energy is producing from the steam power plants. So then we need to reduce the dependency on that. We are switching to the wind power as well as the solar energy. In this case, the solar energy, there we can see in 2013 only 1000 megawatts only we produced. But in 2017 it reached to the 3000 megawatts we are producing from the electricity. It means that the enormous amount we have achieved in this case within these 4 years, and then the carbon emissions also going to be reducing. This is going to be the action plan from the India. So there we can see the solar phase 2. In this case, what will happen? Launched in June 2013. So in this case, what will happen? The target in 2013 only 1 megawatt, 1000 megawatts only we developed. But in 2017, it will go 10 gigawatts power we need to develop from this solar. So in this way, we are going to be reducing the dependency on our thermal power stations. So then enhanced energy efficiency, in this case what will happen? So in this the enhanced energy efficiency, in this case the better appliances, and then what will happen in this case? So the CO2 reductions 99 million tons and oil equivalent to 23 million tons per year. So in this case what will happen? The enhanced energy efficiency not only at the electrical, the domestic or industry levels, at the same time the automobiles levels also. Then what will happen? They are going to be generating the electrical vehicles, so that the emissions we are going to be reducing from this point of view. So there we can see the sustainable habits, the draft prepared. To integrate urban planning with energy conversion, recycling, urban waste management. So then in this case what will happen? The government has planning for the recycling and the urban waste management. They need to convert the garbage need to convert into the useful products. Thus maybe the thermal energy they are going to be creating, and waste gases they are going to be collecting, and so that they are going to be reducing the carbon emissions or greenhouse gases emissions in the atmosphere. And public transportation also is one of the, by setting the biodiesel plantations to enable 20% blended by the 2012. And financial public transport system, it is not only in one sector, in every sectors they are trying to implementing this part. Water, the under preparation, in this case the integrated water resource management conserves and disturbs the equitability, improve the recycling, the pricing, adopt a new and adaptive technology, especially for coastal areas. So there in this case what will happen? The water recycling also. In recently what will happen in Chennai? So they have established the water plant by using this. They want to develop the water from the drinking water from the Bay of Bengal. The Chennai has invested for 1,000 crores for this, and to convert to meet the demands of the Chennai people drinking water. So then the sustained Himalayan ecosystem, in this case this is also under the preparation to understand how the Himalayan glaciers are, the decisions, how the problems can be addressed. These kind of the problems we have discussed in the previous video lectures. That is going to be adaptive measures taken by the Himalayan areas. And the draft prepared enhance the forest for at the present 23%, at least to 33% of India land area, to have 100 million hectares of the forest covered by the 2020. They are also, this is in the plan. Regarding this one, every government, state government, they have started to planting the number of trees, so that a greenery is going to be, we can achieve this part. So then in this case, the sustainable agriculture also we need to devise the strategies to make the agriculture more resilient to climate change. So then they manage the risk factor and develop the GIS and remote sensing in this. So then in this case what will happen? When it comes to the rainy season and winter season, there is a greenery is there in that particular cultivated land. But when it comes to the summer, such a greenery is not going to be existed, then automatically temperatures are started to soar to the next level. So by using this GIS and remote sensing, so we can adopt the different strategies, and we can give the advices to the farmers. They can cultivate in the summer season also. So then a strategic knowledge in this case to enlist the collaboration of all R&D, climate change and society, economic, health and other impacts. Establish the climate science and resource fund, develop the models. In this case what will happen? The people who are implementing, the government or the state government, they have to go with the R&D into hand to hand to get the more information and more efficient methodologies they are going to be generating. So then the turning to the awareness into the action. So already this is the plan is there. In the solar sectors, India has achieved the tremendous achievements, and this greenery preparation also every state government is doing at its own level, individual levels also they are doing. So then, and further we need to enhance this kind of action, we need to put into the minds of the people so that they will going to be carried forward this action plan. So then what I am going to be, under this scheme, essentially an effort to make the people aware of the problem, understand all dimensions. So for this reason, the problem has been broken up to 8 different sections and missions set to address each sections. So this is the action plan we are going to be discussed. Has been set up to analyze the problem and identify the measures necessary for the country to take. So in the others' opinion, a definite action plan has yet to be developed and the apex body identified for turning the awareness into a targeted actions. So then in this case, the developing this theme further, we must remember that the Gandhiji said a long time ago, you may never know what results may come to your action, but if you do nothing, there will be no results. So that's going to be one of the important aspects that we need to keep in mind. So the missions will certainly help us to generate the awareness and build the political will for required action. The question is, what is the required action that we must take after we acquire the awareness and the political will? So what is the outset from this discussion? So we need to understand here, we are trying to create awareness where the National Action Plan on Climate Change, India has started working on this and they also started to generate the different type of results. Details of each missions we have discussed under these 8 categories and they kept in under 8 ministers and they will show the action plan to the Prime Minister and he is going to be present at the international level. And the turning awareness into the action, this is the one of the important aspect. Many plans was wasted because of there is no action from the respective people. So thank you. We are doing a series of video lectures to make you to educate on this green technology, what's going in the surroundings. For more updates, follow the channel.